Good morning, Internet. Welcome back to our morning Ride to Work live. This is Vladimir Nemchinov with InvestSteady.com. Welcome again. It's another windy this time morning in Cleveland, Ohio, but we are not here to talk about weather. All right. So let's get into it. Today, I want to go through the steps. The levels of wealth game. Okay, there's 10 levels. First level is budget. Creating a budget. You tell your money where to go instead of wonder where it went. Level 2 is protecting your family. Protect your income with life insurance. If something happens to you, your family doesn't get wrecked financially. Okay. Level 3 is $1,000 into a starter emergency fund. This keeps small emergencies from turning into credit card debt. Level number 4 of wealth game is to create, to pay off your consumer debt snowball. You kill payments, free up cash flow, and finally feel momentum. Now, level 5 is to fund your full emergency fund. Now you're prepared for real life, not just flat tires. Level 6 is to start investing 15% of your income into retirement. This is where compounding interest starts doing the heavy lifting. Level 7 of wealth game is save for down payment on your house. You buy a home on your terms, not the bank's. Level number 8 of the wealth game is to start 529 for your kids' education. You break the cycle so your kids start ahead, not behind. Level 9 of wealth game is pay off your mortgage. Your biggest bill disappears and your stress level drops hard. And level 10 of wealth game is to build lasting wealth. Your money works for you and freedom becomes permanent. These are the 10 levels of wealth game. We've been through 3 of them. Level 4 is paying off all consumer debt snowball. Okay, so we're going to talk about this today, about paying off debt. Thank you for joining us here on Facebook land. Welcome. Why paying off debt comes before investing? Well, if you do invest while you're trying to pay off debt, first of all, it's going to take you longer to get out of debt. Secondly, also, if there's anything happens, your weight of the debt going to be hovering over you, and it's hard not to think about it. For example, I just had a coworker who had a major surgery. Well, they were in debt. Now income is not coming in since they're not going to work. It's really bad because the lenders, they want their money. They don't want you to skip your payments. Doesn't matter if you had surgery or not. So it gives that security. And next point is why the debt snowball works better than the math-heavy stuff like the debt avalanche. What debt snowball says is you got to line up all your debts from the smallest balance to the highest balance. Okay, it doesn't matter the interest because the goal is to set this snowball in motion. It's going to go through all your debts in a year or two, depending how much you have. So at that point, even if it's 30%, in 1 year you pay it off, 30% will not make a big difference because you're going to be attacking it faster. And snowball has a higher probability to actually help you pay off the debt. So if you use that in your formula of calculating which way is better, snowball method wins because of that. Okay. So now how getting small wins changes everything. And this is exactly the benefit of snowball method. When you have $1,000 debt and you have, let's say, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 debts, if you you pay minimum everywhere. This is what snowball is, right? You pay minimum on all of those payments. You put that in your budget, and you pay every month those minimums. Whatever margin you have between your expenses and whatever comes in, you put that on top of the minimum payment of the smallest balance debt. Once that knocked out, you're like, woohoo, I paid something off. Okay, so there's less debt now on me, at least fewer accounts, and it gives you encouragement to continue. And then you put everything, the minimum payment and the margin that you had put on the smallest balance debt, you put it on the second smallest, and so on, and so on. And the snowball gets momentum, it gets bigger and bigger, and helps you to stay motivated, because it's hard to just pay. Imagine your highest interest, also your highest balance loan, and you will pay it for 10 years. Well, if you prepay it, of course, it's going to be faster, but it's going to take longer compared to other debts. So you don't have this momentum built up. It's going to take you a longer time, and you're more likely to quit doing it. Why debt isn't just a money problem, it's an emotional one. Well, apparently finances and money is not math problem. It is emotional, because we're on Instagram, we see what other people show off. We don't know if they have it or not, but they show off. And maybe some influencers, people who already achieved some success, they have better things. And we say, oh, I want that. In America, here, we do not know a word, I cannot afford this. And so we're like, oh, they buy it, I buy it, except we go in debt for that. And who knows, maybe they do too, we just don't know. And we don't think about that, we just want that shiny thing that they have. We want hair like they do. We want makeup like they do, nails, manicure like they do. We want to look pretty as they do. That's more, of course, relevant for women. For men, we want toys like other men have. We want hobbies. We want businesses as other men have. Do we deserve it? If we couldn't earn it, why do we deserve it? So that's where that comes into the picture, and we try to keep up with Joneses. All right, let's go to the Reddit land and answer some questions. How to pay and clear off debt as fast as I can. Hello, I need financial advice and help on how to pay and clear up my debt. I'm only 24 years old and have about $18,000 in debt, accumulated from school loans, credit card debt, and building a small business loans. I've been paying my monthly payments of $600 and plus more when I can't put it, but it still seems like it's never ending because of the interest. I started my own small business hoping it would help, but the market has not been the best, so I'm not relying on that for much help anymore. I'm also a waitress. I used to make $3,000 to $4,500 a month, but now with my workplace being slower, I only make about $1,500 to $2,500 a month. I recently also had to get a new car because of a bad car accident, and I pay rent. So every month I pay around $2,000 a month in bills for rent, car insurance, and debt. This leaves me with barely any room to do much. I'm basically living paycheck to paycheck, and I need all the help I can get to help lessen my load of debts. Someone please help me with some advice. All right, thank you for joining us. This is Vladimir, and today we're talking about finances, answering questions while you driving on your way to work or working out or whatever else you do. Okay, so this is a question from 24-year-old who has $18,000 in debt. So she had more income, now she has less income, and the bills didn't stop. And then she also said she had to get a new car. For everybody out there, nobody has to get a new car. This is a big selling slogan for dealerships, You need a reliable car. Only brand new car can be reliable. That's not true. And I also have a friend I know a friend who had their brand new car bought, and they had payments for 6 years for that car. In a year, I can't remember 4 or year 5, the engine blew on a brand new car that was serviced by dealer. So more reliable it was for a couple of years until engine blew up. So I have not driven a brand new car yet in my life. I just turned 40 last year. Here's my net worth on the wall there. I'm tracking that. That's where my money is, not in cars. Okay, so she bought a brand new car. Now she's struggling with that payment. Okay, if she could save up that payment for maybe 2 months, she would get some beater to get to work, and was able to address that. Okay, what in the world just happened? Some kind of new sound was introduced to the computer. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's why there are these 10 wealth levels of wealth game, levels of wealth game. Because here, that's what first thing that she needs to do. She needs to do a budget. Okay, it looks like there is not much really going on because everything goes to rent and payments. What can you do? You can get a roommate. When I came to America, I had several roommates that I lived with because we could not afford rent on our own. Rent went up since, and so that's one way. Basically, there's 2 ways to get more money: make more money and spend less money. And I recommend to do both. So with rent, she can, I think it's a she. I don't know. I always think it's a she. So this person can get a roommate. Okay. Now they can get rid of that payment, that car. It's going to be hard probably right now to do so. However, she also can increase and should increase her income. If she's a waitress, I don't know what happened to business, if she closed it or not, she doesn't say here, but if she's a waitress, she did say she's a waitress, so it's a she can get another job, okay, or get a job that pays more than $1,500 a month. This is like nothing. So these are the couple things that she has to do before she can even tackle the debt, okay, because there's no rearrangements that will help her to tackle the debt. She needs to take this step, create the budget. She looks like she's single, so she doesn't need to worry about protection. Then she will go to creating an emergency fund of $1,000 in case something happens. She's not going back into debt. Okay, so once that is in place, now she starts to attacking her debt. First thing is to see how much margin you have in your after you save $1,000 for starter emergency fund, to see how much margin you have. You have $1,000, you have $100, and from there you can increase your income to increase the margin, and that's how you attack the debt. Okay, and then you start paying minimums. If you have several, it looks like she does have several: credit card debt, business loan debt, and school loans. Okay, so just organize them in the size of the balance, and then pay everywhere the minimum, and then smallest, attack with the snowball vengeance and pay off the smallest, then roll all that money into the next debt, and this way you'll be able to pay off $18,000. You see, like, people, we think most in America probably have more than $18,000, but for a 24-year-old, that's a lot of money, and it's a lot of money for anybody to owe. Sometimes we don't think about it that's a big deal, but something happens in their life, and now all the bills breathing down their neck, and we don't make any more income. For example, like a coworker I just mentioned, a couple years ago, there was somebody that I worked with who was helping me renovate the house, one of the rentals that I have. They were proposing to go into business, flipping business basically. And it sounded so good. I didn't have to do anything. I had to buy the property, and they would do all the work, and then we split basically the money that we make. And so it was very enticing to me. However, a couple months later, that person broke their leg, and they couldn't work anymore. So they couldn't provide for their house, let alone working on my rental property, or on our venture. And that's the kind of stuff that we don't plan for. We don't know that that's going to happen. But it happens. And then all your debt It's not going away anywhere because you can't work. Your rent's still there. All right, let's go to the next question. Seeking debt payoff advice. My goal is to pay off all my debt by the end of 2026. All right, good goal. New Year's resolution, one might say. I would also like to buy a home once my debt has been paid off. Okay, so far so good. Good plan. At this point in time, my plan is to put $1,000 a month extra toward my debt payoff. Is there a smarter way to go about this, such as calling the creditors to negotiate the balance due or applying for debt consolidation loan? I'm worried if I take out debt consolidation loan that will hurt my credit score and impact my ability to get a home loan in the future. My current credit score is 680 total monthly minimum payments $908, and then they mention all the debt that they owe here. Man, that's a lot. What are they? TJ Maxx, Best Buy, Care Credit, Napa, Affirm, Capital One, Citi, Lowe's, oh my goodness, Wells Fargo, Discover, another Discover, Capital One, car loans, a car loan, $2,000 left. Total $20,000 in debt. Wow, man. All right, so good goal, $20,000. Okay, we're starting with the wealth levels, the 10 levels of wealth game. First would be to create a budget. However you spend it, this is what you need to do so you know how much you can add more extra towards the debt. Okay, so if this person, let's see, man, this interest is crazy. Up to 35% interest on some of these. And they're all over 10, mostly over 25% in interest, some 35. TJ Maxx, 35%. Credit Napa, 30%. Capital One, 29.6. Wow, that's a lot of interest. Okay, so again, that person, who is this person? This person is Piper Pom Pom. All right, does not sound like a guy. So it looks like she. Creating a budget. Okay, she is thinking to add $1,000 a month extra. So let's see, $1,000 a month, that's going to be 12,000. So currently, if you have 20,000 that you need to pay off this year, you set the budget, you put $1,000 away for your starter emergency fund, and then you just everything, not only $1,000, but whatever you can, put it towards the smallest debt. Okay, if we line them up here, it's gonna be $500 here. Let's see if we have anything smaller, 400 at Napa. Okay, so these two will be wiped out with the first month of pay, basically. $1,000 towards those are gone. So it's gonna simplify. It's gonna simplify how many debts now you have lined up. It's gonna be easier to track them. Okay, pay minimum everywhere, and then the $1,000, boom, towards these two paid off. Okay, going to the next one, and that's how you get off and pay off this debt in 2026. Okay, a couple other things that I would like to add here. Smarter way to go about it. Well, if you paying and making payments on your debts, your creditors will not negotiate with you. Why? You already signed up to pay the full amount. Why would they negotiate with you? You can negotiate when you have not been paying, because when you have not been paying, then they start worrying about ever getting the money back or not, and then they're more likely to negotiate. But you need to be a big girl and be responsible for debts that you took. You took those debts, let's pay them off, okay? Okay, another question that she asked about is about debt consolidation. Okay, so consolidation, this is why consolidation is not a good idea. It might give you a smaller percentage, but now it's gonna lump sum all your debt into one amount, so you will pay only one payment. There is not gonna be this snowball basically pay off cycle when you pay off smallest things. You like, woohoo, paid off some. moving on to the next one, put more money into that, and then pay off that, and then move to the other one, and so on. This is how you get the momentum of snowball. So do not consolidate, because you're only paying it in 1 year anyways. So focus on that, pay off the smallest. I see a $300 card as well. So that is what I would do in your place. Do that. And then you also said you want to buy a house. Okay, so once we pay our debt, you want to put 3 to 6 months in your full emergency fund before you start putting or saving money for the house. The next step should be, next level is technically to start your retirement. Okay, so you can postpone that step if you want to save up down payment, let's say for 2 months. Like in this scenario, she was able to put $1,000 a month extra. That once she paid off debt, that's going to be another at least $1,000. So it's maybe $3,000 a month she can put away. So $3,000 a month is $36,000, and in 2 years, that's $72,000 that she could have for her down payment. That's great. Postpone the step 5 of the wealth game, or level 5, where you put 15% into your retirement, save up money for down payment, purchase your house, and then start the 15% into your retirement investing. Okay. All right, moving on to the next one. Next question is, why should I pay off first? What should I pay off first? Same interest but different balances. Hey, I have several federal loans, some with higher balances than the others, and some with different interest rates. I see it's recommended to pay the highest interest rate off first, but my issue is I have 3 different loans with the same interest rate, each with different principal amount. I think I should pay the highest principal one first. Say in the case of the interest rate of 5%, and there's a loan with $1,000 and a loan 2 with $500. I should pay off on loan 1 instead of loan 2 because of 5% off loan 1 that occurs is larger amount than loan 2. Then after loan 1 is paid off, I pay extra on the loan 2. I feel like I'm tripping, but the math I think is sound. Okay, first of all, if you have 2 loans that equals $1,500, what are we talking about? Just pay it off. Secondly, it's not about bigger amount accruing, it's about the same percentage. You yourself said that there's the same percentage that's accruing. Then it doesn't matter where it's accruing, in a smaller account with smaller balance or with larger balance. Just pay them off. You can pay off the smallest one first, $500, and then $1,000. I can't believe we're asking a question about $1,500 debt. The issue is, I'm thinking it says if I have 4 loans and if I paid the extra on the smallest amount, then that would be paid off faster, and then the money I won't be paying on the one I paid off will now be added to the paying off of the other loans. I think the math for that is more complicated and variable. If there's a calculator for that, I can someone send it my way? I might just pay the highest principal amount, though the highest interest, and then continue that way. Okay. Wow, we definitely making calculating complicated. Hopefully, she actually have more. I'm assuming she has more student loans than just $1,500, and that was just an example. So again, that's why she's trying to say that pay the highest first, because accruing, if it's the same interest on all the loans, it's going to be accruing at the same rate. It doesn't matter what amount there is. Okay, so if you have $2,000, 2 loans of $2,000 on this side and the one on $4,000, and they're accruing the same interest, those two $2,000 loans will accrue the same as one $4,000 loan. So that doesn't matter. Again, we math is on our side if we do snowball, because we are likely to complete the whole snowball debt payoff process. If we try to do the biggest one, we get discouraged, something comes up. But if we do the smallest first, we pay it off, we get this little win, and then we get a bigger win, and then bigger and bigger, and then next thing you see, all the debt is paid off. And that is what I would do. This is what I recommend. Okay. Next question. How to pay off debt? How do I even begin to pay off debt? I'm about 17K in debt to collections and a small credit card debt. I literally can't figure out how to pay it. I can afford to start payments, but I can't find any websites or ways to actually send the money. That is interesting. Okay, a couple things. $17,000 debt in collections and a small credit card. Depending if credit card is also in collection or not. If it's not, just start paying off the credit card. Okay, it's a small one, small credit card. I'm assuming small balance, not smaller credit card than regular size. Pay off that. Pay off that credit card. Okay, you know about it, you have it, you have some kind of app, just pay it off. Okay, now with the collections, again, with collections, you can actually negotiate the payment. So if you don't know how to reach out to them, they will reach out to you. They want their money. They will be trying to collect the money. Meanwhile, if you don't know how to contact them, just save up money, save up money, save up money. Let's say you will, when debt is in collection, the chances of them getting that debt paid is lower and lower and lower with every month that goes by. So if they contacting you already, or if they're not contacting you, then the further they go, the more likely they will be willing to settle. So at that time, if you have, let's say, $8,000, and you can say, hey, I owe you this much, I have right now, or how much I can settle for, they'll say, no, pay full amount. And then next time they call, how much I can settle for, how much I can settle for, and eventually they would say how much you can settle for. And then you can negotiate and maybe even settle the full amount with like $8,000 instead of paying all 17. Okay, that would be at your advantage, of course. But credit card, just pay on that, pay it off. Okay, I need help figuring out the right order to pay off my many debts. I have quite a lot racked up over the years, and I am just now trying to figure things out. Better late than never, right? I have 2 credit cards with a high interest rate, and according to the avalanche method, I should work on paying those down first. But they are high balance that could take a while to pay down. Meanwhile, I have a bunch of smaller debts that I did balance transfer on so that I could get 0% interest for a period of time. I looked through the wiki and couldn't really find any info on those in particular. Honestly, what I've been doing for the last couple of years is doing a new balance transfer between cards each time they're about to expire. I know I pay a small 3 to 5% fee to do these transfer, but it seems better to do this than to take a giant hit of interest for not paying it off in full at the end of the term. Should I focus on the snowball method with the 0% interest so that I can get those paid off and stop having to do balance transfers, then work on the highest interest rate cards, or vice versa? Any insight would be greatly appreciated. Essay. Okay, essay. Man, this is a lot of work. Why don't you just pay those cards off instead of transferring them? You transfer them, and then for a year you pay no interest. So pay them that year. Depending on how many you have, yes, definitely snowball method is the one to go. If you just transfer them and you have no debt for a year, this is your perfect time to start paying on them. Create your budget, put away $1,000 for emergencies, okay, so you don't go back in debt, and then line them up in a snowball fashion, debt payoff, smallest to largest. And hold up a second. All right, technical difficulty with the 30-minute video limit, I guess. So line them up from smallest to largest and start paying off on the smallest. You pay that off, you knock it out, and then transfer all that money that was going towards that to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and you'll get to the credit cards with the high interest. And it's going to take you much faster to pay them off. So interest is irrelevant at that point, or not that important. For some time here, it sounds like for years, better late than never, over the years. Okay, for years you've been doing this, and it will take you less to pay off all the debt. Focus, and you can do it. All right. Next question is just about that. Debt snowball versus avalanche. Hello, I am 33-year-old married with 2 kids, 5 and 1-year-old. I want to get out of debt quickly. Which would be the best option and why? With $47K in debt, living in North Carolina, making about $50,000 annually, no OT at the moment. Well, cartoonist only, 50-35. Welcome. Well, so these things that you told me about $50K annually, you're married. Is that for 2 of you? If there's 2 of you, then you're making very little, okay? And telling me that you're making $50K, what does that mean? Make $75. Go get a second job, and that's how you do it. You owe as much as you make a year, okay? So now if you live on 40 and you put 10 towards it, it's going to take you 5 years. If you live on the half and you pay 25 a year, it'll take you 2 years. But don't do that. Make some money. Create a budget. See where the fat that you can cut off. The things that you don't need, that you want, that you're paying for. Any subscriptions, cable, all that. You don't need that. 5 and 1-year-old kids, they need you be present and not worrying about the debt. That's not going to go anywhere unless you pay it. So how do you pay it? You want to do some Uber and do that? Make another $1,000 a year and hopefully pay it off faster. Your wife, if she's home, or I don't know what she does, I hope it's not 2 people income of $50,000. That's like nothing. So if she's staying home, she can do something part-time job when you come from home, and she can go do work evenings or something. There's always a way. Follow the wealth game, the 10 levels, okay? First, create a budget. Second, protect yourself. In case something happens to you and your wife is stay home, she needs the income. Okay, protect yourself. Then 3 is start an emergency fund over $1,000. Next, start paying off all the debt. Find margin everywhere from doing your budget. Start making more. Try to find gigs, try to find second job, whatever you need to do to get it done. If you find another job of $50,000, you will not be home for a year, but after a year you have no debt. Okay, suffer for 1 year, then stretching this for years, trying to balance, try to make the payments. You can do anything for 1 year. Do that. Kids not going to even remember that you were not home most of the time. And you will see them hopefully once a month. So, all right. Next question. Pay off debt all at once. Much like the title says, what's my best source for paying all collectors and debt in one place? Less than 4K. I have no idea what this question is. Are you asking about like an app? Somebody said your job, your savings and investments. The bank of mom is or equivalent. That's about all. Your job, that's one source of paying all your debt in one place. Oh man, this is funny. I'm not sure if they want some kind of app to do all that in one. It's automated. Create your budget, see how much minimum you need to do, set up the minimum payments on all of them, and then whatever you have margin, attack the smallest. Put it manually on there. Chances are in a month you will be done at least with one. In a couple of months you will be done with the second one. In a few months you will be done with the next one. And so it's $10,000. You pay $1,000 extra, you're done in under a year. Do it. Do it. Just do it. One place is your job. Bank of Mom. That is funny. All right, guys, this is Vladimir Nemchinov with living with InvestSteady.com. So another question we have here, snowball versus avalanche method. Thank you for joining this morning on your way to work or whatever else you do, or maybe you're working out. I'm just finished with my workout. Actually, I was in sauna today, and here I am answering some questions from the internet. Snowball versus avalanche. All right, next question we have here, snowball versus avalanche method. So I'm currently started paying, wow, sounds like something I would say. So I currently started paying down debt, locked all my credit cards. Right now, I'm caught between paying off my credit cards versus starting with my lowest debt. The credit cards weighs heavy on me, so I'm attacking that right now. But I want to see what you all have done. I'm also saving on the side because we are about to get slow at work, so my checks won't be as big to cover some life expenses. Well, your checks will be smaller, but if you pay off your debt, your expense is going to get lower. You know, now you have savings so you can pay off the debt. Why don't you just pay off the debt? Yes, I definitely recommend a snowball method. Attack the smallest ones. Don't worry about high interest. Attack the smallest, then you will have fewer payments to deal with. That's going to make it less complex. It's going to be easier for you to follow up and actually have progress. So that's what I would recommend. Next question. Bad spending habits has led to $13K credit card debt. Don't know how to pay it all off. I'm a 22-year-old guy who just graduated in May of 2025. Congratulations with a bachelor in finance. Oh boy. I worked only part-time all years because I was too stubborn to realize that starting protein business without any capital was a stupid idea. Between business expenses, stupid spending habits, and shopping, and an edible addiction, I've finally gotten away from. I've put myself in $13,000 of credit card debt. I just started a new job last week, working full-time in media buying, which is also remote. That brings in about $2,200 a month post-tax. I've come to the realization how bad my spending habits have become, and have gotten my numbers to the following. Income $2,250, 9-to-5 job. That's nothing. What does that mean? $2,000 a month? Go get a different job. Go to Walmart or something. 400 Amazon influencer program tech reviews. 300 YouTube AdSense from reposted tech reviews. Total income not even $3,000. Expenses $1,000 rent. An apartment with 2 roommates who finished school in 5 months, month-to-month lease, but couldn't leave them high and dry with my portion of the bill. Oh boy. 120 utilities, 250 groceries. That's good. Transportation, gas, minimum payments on 7 credit cards. Okay. 80 subscriptions such as gym, ChatGPT for work and organization, Premiere Pro for the review vids, renter's insurance. Total expense $2,000. Okay, so we have some margin even after that. These expenses are assuming I don't make any more stupid decisions, which I have greatly reduced lately. Great. Okay, so there's a whole a letter here. Well, start with that. Great job. You have $1,000 already. You almost $1,000, a little under $900, and that's with paying the minimum. So that means you can put that $900 towards your credit card debt and you're done in 1 year. Not complicated. You're doing good. If you stop doing the stupid stuff that got you in there, get a better job, get a second job, pay it off in 6 months. Nothing holding you. You don't owe anything to your roommates. You can't leave them high and dry. Why not? They're not going to pay your bills. You can't pay their bills. So let's do that. Very simple. Attack your debt and put everything towards it. You'll be amazed how fast you'll be done with it. And you mentioned something about credit score. Don't worry about it. Pay off your credit cards. All right. Next question. If you can pay off all your debt at once, should you? Hello. So I, like many others, have big college debt. Over the last 5 years, while the government has not required us to make payments, no interest, I put my nose to grindstone and now have more money saved than I owe in college debt. Not much, mind you, but some. This is great. Threat level God. Okay, threat level God. Very good. Good job grinding. College payments are about to return. I have heard mixed things on whether I should make payments monthly with interest while keeping that money in the bank in case I suddenly need it, or if I should drop it all at once, even if it sets me back for a while. It does not set you back for a while. You right now, on paper, you're even, okay? You owe, let's say, whatever you owe, a little over, but total 36. So 11 small loans, $36,000, right? So you're $36,000 in a hole. And if you have that $36,000, that means you are about zero, okay? So it doesn't matter if you have money and then have debt as well, you still net worth zero and not this net worth, okay? But that's where you want to be. You want to be positive. All right, moving on. Blah, blah, blah. For instance, if something happens after it's paid, I'll be in trouble. Don't have the money to do much else. Advice on this. Edit. For more info, it's 11 small loans my parents took out on me. The biggest is a little over 5,000, but they total about 36,000. Each has 4% interest. Okay, very, very simple. Pay them all off. You don't have to snowball. You don't have to do anything. Have $1,000 left for your small emergency fund. That's all you need. Okay, and then pay them off. You're gonna ramp it up very quick for full emergency fund, and then you start investing into your retirement. You will be wealthy. It sounds like you're young, probably just graduated, but do that. Pay it off. You have money, pay off your debt. You decrease risk by that $36,000 right then and there. All right, next question, and the last question for today. Need advice on how to pay off my credit card debt. For reference, I make good money at about $85,000 a year. Very good. Once I got hired, I was super excited and built up some credit card debt being stupid, and I'm looking to fix that. That's funny. I was excited, and so I got in debt. I racked up about 9,000 credit card debt over a few months. 4,500 at 29% and 4,500 at 25%. That's not a big difference. Once I realized how bad it was, I was able to snag a personal loan for $9,000 at 18% to help fight the interest and clear the cards and help keep my focus. Well, let's see. So we have $9,000 and we're gonna times 0.3. Okay, so in the matter of year, it would be $2,700. Now, if you do 9,000 and you do times 18, it's gonna be 16. So you saved $1,000. You know, even if you start paying in a year, if you did if you make the payments and pay it off in the year, you saved $1,000. But if you start paying right now, little by little, it's not going to be even $1,000. So this is gymnastics. It's unnecessary. Just pay off your debts. My main question is this: should I dump pretty much all my free money into the loan till it's gone, or should I also build up an emergency savings, which is currently zero? I have a doesn't matter interest saving account that I am looking to utilize, but I just want to know if it's safer go savings first or debt first. Okay, so depending what you mean by that, so what I recommend with the wealth game, level 3 is to put $1,000 into your savings, into your emergency. Doesn't matter if it's 3.65% or not. Put $1,000 there, okay, and then start paying off your debt. Smallest to largest. If it's, well, now we have only one at 18%, so just put everything after that on top of the minimum payment towards the debt you're going to pay off. Then you build the full emergency fund, and this is the plan. This is the wealth game levels. Get all of them. Let me know, what level are you on? Are you at paying off your debt? Did you pay it off? Are you building your full emergency fund? Thankfully, we are on a level that pays off, that we already paid off our debt a while ago. So we built our full emergency fund, and now we're maxing out our Roth IRA every year for like 3 years now. Okay, that's where we are at in the journey of wealth game. Join us. Let us know what level you're on. And remember to invest steady and compound your net worth. Thank you guys for joining, and have a great day.